We're here with Eisenhower head coach Jim Penley. Coach, obviously you guys had a great season a year ago. Now you kind of get back to normal. You graduated a big senior class. What do you expect to see from the younger players who are going to have to step up and fill those roles?
You know, the blessing that we had last year is we had a plethora, I think that's a good word, a plethora of sophomores who played and started for us. And we had a tremendous junior class. Even though it's not a big junior class, the guys who were in there, they're all football players. And so when you realistically look at it, we had roughly 5 to 6 guys who were underclassmen who started last year on both sides of the ball. And there's a lot of other guys who got substantial playing time. So the blessing that we really come back with is even though we lost a tremendous class of seniors, we had a big group of kids who played. And I think that's one of the reasons we were successful. We had tremendous depth. We could put a lot of guys on the field, even the younger guys, and they did their job and they knew what they were doing. And we bring that back this year, and the hope is we can find more of those young guys to do the same thing again.
And, you know, offensively, most of the seniors who graduated were from your skill positions. You are going to return pretty much the entire interior of your offensive line. How valuable is that as you try to bring some of those young skill position players along?
Well, you know, the one nice thing with the backfield was, you know, Benji Bauer played a lot for us at fullback. You know, he ran for over 300 yards, and I think he had 6 total touchdowns last year. And he helped us a lot in our run game as far as blocking, especially the second half of the season. Having that group of guys, you know, you bring back a tight end like Mike Jones, who's been out there this will be his 3rd year starting. Gannon Jaquay and Connor Younger, this will be the 3rd year starting at guard and center. Caleb Penley, this will be his 2nd year starting at guard. All those guys were all-stars last year. And what's been really nice getting into camp is that we don't have a lot of confusion on blocking assignments. Like right now, when we go out, we know what we're doing. So now it's just getting the younger talent that we have in the backfield up to speed and getting them understanding that difference between that JV garbage time in a varsity game to, hey, we're playing Friday nights at kickoff.
You know, and obviously the most important position on the field is quarterback position. You graduated a phenomenal one in the Region 5 Player of the Year, Owen Trumbull. What have you seen from your guys so far this year through the first couple of days of camp that gives you optimism going into the season at the quarterback position?
Well, you know, the thing is that Owen did an amazing job for us. He's one of the best quarterbacks I've coached, without a doubt, and he's a tremendous competitor, tremendous leader. But, you know, he started somewhere too. You know, he was a young quarterback getting to try things as a freshman where he kind of struggled throwing the ball. Sophomore, he did a good job. Junior, he started to blossom to become what he was. Right now, I think we're blessed with 2 decent options at this moment. Now, when I say decent, it's just that because we haven't seen him in the real game yet. Garrett Jensen is a junior. He's been doing all of our stuff JV. He's been the backup for 2 years now. He knows the offense. He knows what he's supposed to do. Now it's just going to be putting it together, see how he does on the field. And then Sean Pascuzzi, who's a sophomore, is a tremendous athlete. Right now, we're actually looking at him as potentially being our starting tailback as a sophomore. So I think that kind of tells the level of athleticism that he has. But he also is in that mix at quarterback. You know, he just doesn't have near as much time running the offense and what we do.
And as good as you guys were offensively a year ago, it was maybe even more impressive on the defensive side of the ball. Only gave up a handful of touchdowns throughout the regular season. You return a lot of those guys, especially in your front 7. Again, how valuable is it going to be to have a defense that you know is going to be stout up front?
You know, I think I was telling someone this the other day that, you know, last year it wasn't our offense that made us amazing. It was our defense. You know, I mean, I think our JV offense scored more touchdowns than the rest of our region did against us during the year. And that's not a rip on the region. I think that's just how really solid our team was last year. And one of the things that made it easier was the defense. We didn't have a lot of 80-yard fields. We had a lot of, hey, we're getting the ball on the other side of the 50. We got to go 50, 60 yards. Now, we were very explosive. We took advantage of it very, very quick. But that defense really did the job. You know, I mean, we lost a couple guys up front. Obviously, you know, Hag and Beers that were essential pieces to us up there. Also, Kale, who unfortunately can't come back this year, was a huge part of that as well. But we also, I mean, we had a you know, 7-man platoon of defensive linemen that just rolled and rolled and rolled and rolled. So all of those guys, we bring back a large group of guys who've already done it. You bring back 2 all-star linebackers in Jaquay and Bauer. You know, it's great to have that level of comfort knowing that those guys have been in it. You know, no matter if we have a rough day out here or not, we know that when those lights turn on, those guys have been in it, they've done the job, and it makes it a lot easier, I think, as a coach, because your hope is, even if our offense struggles a little bit, if our defense does its job, if our defense does half the job it did last year, we should definitely be in games, and that's really what our hope is, until, our young guys really start to blossom.
And again, going back to this past season and everything that happened, you had a smaller region, shorter schedules, not your typical off season. How nice has it been to get back to a more of a normal off season schedule with these guys?
Well, I mean, obviously to be able to get back in the weight room, to be able to do some of the work that we do during the summer, that's huge. Last year, I mean, we were blessed when we were allowed to get back on the field. We had everyone here, what consequently is why we had a really good season. But, I think the thing for us is just being able to get back to football as normal, not having to have masks on everywhere, to be able to think and game plan, travel, to think that you're going to have parents here. You don't have to go through all that drama of parents, am I going to be on the field or not? It's been nice just to have football again. Even though we recognize in this world that could change at a moment's notice, right now we're not even thinking about it. We're just thinking, we got football. We got a scrimmage this weekend against two tremendous teams. We're excited to get out there and see where we're at so we can get ready for that game 1 against Sagertown.
Sagertown, one of those teams that you didn't see last year, is now on the schedule again. What kind of challenges is that going to present now that you've got a full Region 2 schedule ahead of you?
I mean, well, I think the challenge is the fact that, when we were in the smaller region, this is everyone else, you got them the first time, and then you kind of had an idea of what you need to do the second time. Now that's everyone. Everyone has the same opportunity, but I think for us, I think it's a challenge because the region that we're in this small school region, I think is one of the most challenging and fun regions that you're going to find, because everyone's so close to each other. We got similar sized rosters, we got similar sized talent. And I think that's what's always made this small school region, with the likes of Cambridge Springs and Maplewood and Union City, Sagertown. Northwestern, Seneca. I mean, there's so many different things that you get to see. That's what makes it a lot of fun. And it is a challenge because we're going to have to work more than we did last year, but that's everyone. Because everyone kind of had that luxury of, okay, well, I did my first 3 games. Now we kind of got an idea what they're going to do, and we can kind of plan for it even that much better. But I think that also brings the fun, because then every single week it's just, it's a new challenge, new players. It's, I'm excited to get back into it.
A year ago you made it to the District 10 championship game. What's the biggest thing you guys are going to have to do this season to get back in that game this year?
Well, every single year is a new year. Last year we were blessed with amazing depth. And this year, we had first world problems, where I could letter 28 guys last year. This year, we're probably about 10 fewer than that. So, we have to deal with, keeping healthy. We have to deal with the talent that is in the region. There's some tremendous teams over there. There's, bigger schools like Northwestern. And then, of course, you've also got just classical physical schools like Cambridge Springs and Maplewood, and Cochranton will always fight with you. You can say, I mean, Iroquois has always got some gifted kids up there from up in Lawrence Park. I mean, I think that, for a lot of us, the opportunity to get back out there and compete, we have to go one game at a time. And last year, that's all we did. Guys, we got one game at a time because we didn't know if we were going to get closed down the next week. So we said, guys, we're not worried about the big picture. We want to end up there. But if we just handle this week and we do it every single week, we'll be where we want to be at the end. And that's what we did last year. That's how we played it. We weren't talking about district title. The only time it ever came up was, hey, you know what? Is this, because we knew Reynolds was going to be the team. And, when we sit there and go, is this something you can beat Reynolds with? No, got to work harder. And then the rest of it was, if we aim for that and we focus on this week, we'll be where we want to be at the end.
Eisenhower coach Jim Penley, thanks for taking some time with us.
Yep, thank you.